Hello there guys, it's Muscular here, back in another video, and today I'm going to do what if Deku can use Ultra Instinct part 15. Hope you enjoy it. So last part we only covered the final exam for Deku. And trust me, at first I don't expect it to be a whole part. I know it will be long, but not 14 minutes. So I don't know how to make a summary out of it. So if you want to know what happened last part, click on I button right here. And with that, let's begin. So our story resumes a couple of hours after the exam. Deku just wake up and he's in the infirmary. He starts looking around, then remember what happened, and him winning the finals, and him using that power. But that thought was quickly cut off by a recovery girl telling him, is he okay? He not until that always happen when he exerts himself. She tells him that he can stay here until he recover fully, but he shook his head and tell her he's fine. Then she tell him, if you don't mind me asking, your scar, where did you get it? Deku was surprised. He tell her, you know about it? But I still have my clothes on, at least this time. Recovery girl tell him that she already know about it for a while, specifically after the USG incident. His clothes got torn after the fight, so they decide to remove them and they saw the scar. Deku reply, they? Who else did see it? She tell him, Aizawa, her, and Cementos. So where did you get it? She asked again. Well, then he tell her what happened this summer with the sludge villain, with the bear or zombie bear. Recovery girl took a second to process everything. Then she tell him, wait a second, that paramedic that saved you have almost the same quirk as me. Deku nod. Recovery girl continue. So maybe your quirk and mine can work together. You will provide the energy and I will use it to heal him. Deku tell her that might work. But we need someone to test it on, someone that have a deep wound. Then it hit Deku all might, but he didn't tell her because he doesn't know that she know about One for All. Then she tell him that she know a person that have a deep scar or deep wound and she wasn't able to heal him. But right now maybe she can, but not is not the time for it. Take a few days to rest, then we'll see what we can do. Deku nod and he exit the infirmary. He wants trick the class, everyone except Bakugo congratulate him on his win. Then they start asking him how he was able to float without a quirk. He explained he was able to use his own ki, but because no one know a lot about ki, they didn't understand a thing. Where they did understand the concept, but they know practically nothing about ki. Except Novmi, he know a bit about it, but not enough to help him use it. Then they start thinking what should they do before they go to summer camp. They have a few days, so at first they think of going shopping, then going to the pool. Everyone agreed that's the plan, and they agreed to meet tomorrow. But before they split, the ones are close to Deku realize that he's acting a bit strange. But they think that only because he's tired from fighting All Might. So without anything else happening, let's fast forward to the next day. They gather at the mall, then they split, just like the anime. But one small change I'm going to add is the girls were torn between spending time with Deku or shopping with the others, because technically if they go with him they consider this a date. But Deku, being clueless as he is in this what if, he tells them to just have fun. So they decide to stay with him. And when of me hear that, a grin creep on his face. And then he tells Deku, popular kids strikes again. And Deku start to catch on what's going on here, especially with the girls. But he haven't grasped it fully. But before they start shopping, someone approach Deku and tell him, so you're the kid who won the sport festival. Can I have an autograph? Yeah, sure. But before he can finish the sentence, the man put his hand on his neck and it's Shigaraki. Everyone was shocked to see him here. Then he told them, if any one of you move, I will kill him. And he slowly reached his last finger around Deku's neck. Everyone lowered their guards. Then he told Deku, I heard that you are the one who defeated Stain. So I think you are the person that I need to ask this question. What's special about him? People always fear him because he's a hero killer and whatnot. So tell me what's special about him. Then he scratched Deku's neck with his last finger. Deku on the other hand is terrified. Not because of Shigaraki, it's because of himself. Specifically Ultra Instinct. He can feel the buildup of ki inside of him and he's using every ounce of his willpower to stop it. Because if he power up here in the mall with this many people around him, there will be many casualties. Deku start thinking what should he do. Then Shigaraki shake him and tell him, answer me kid. Deku tell him, it's simple. I can understand where he's coming from. He have a purpose and he make it clear. You on the other hand, just show up from nowhere attacking a bunch of kids. Like right now. And for me that only show that you are scared and a coward. Shigaraki tightened his grip around the Deku's neck and tell him, "You better watch out, kid. I have the upper hand here. I know that you cannot use your quirk because there's so many people around us, so you're trapped." Deku smirk and tell him, "I see that you did your homework this time. You're correct, I cannot use my quirk because I'm afraid of endangering people. But you overlooked one important thing. I don't care if I endanger my body to save my friends." Deku immediately popped 100%. Then he formed a light sword, energy sword, I haven't decided on the name yet. Anyway, Deku used this sword to cut Shigaki's hands off, cutting himself in the process because Shigaki was close to him. Shigaki jumped back from the pain, started screaming, everybody started looking and they saw a villain. Deku, without wasting time, kicked Shigaki up in the air, breaking his other arm, but when he jumped to capture him, he was teleported away using a purple black hole. Deku fly down, he grabbed a tissue and put it on the wound. Everyone asked him, "Is he okay?" He nodded and told them this is just a scratch. Obviously the police were called and the medic, and Deku did downgrade a bit how deep the wound was. Sure, it's not life-threatening. It's on the screen right now. Threatening. Sorry if I say that wrong, my accent, I can't do anything about it. Going back on the topic about Deku's wound. So after Recovery Girl heard that Deku got hurt again, she wanted to see him and they tested a new thing. So they combined their powers and it actually worked. The wound was healed instantly. And because Deku's Ultra Instinct gave him a lot of ki and the wound is not that big, it only took a fraction of his power. After he was all healed up, he was taken to the police station to give his statement, and obviously his mom was called, and like any mom, she was worried about him, but Deku comforted her and tell her she knows that he will be safe, and if he decides to get hurt, his quirk will protect him. His mom laughed a bit because it's technically the truth, but she did make him promise to stay safe. After that, they were escorted home, but in the next day, someone knocked on Deku's door and it's Kaminari and Naofumi. He was surprised and happy to see them. Then he asked them what's going on. They explained because of what happened yesterday, they weren't able to go to the pool, so they asked Aizawa if they can use the pool in UA, and he agreed. Deku told them, "Oh, that's nice, but I can't go with you guys. I have some business with the Recovery Girl, so I can't join you." "Well, sucks to be you," Naofumi tell him. "I will have a good time with your harem." Deku shout, "They are not my harem. Come back here, you son of a..." Then Naofumi used Black Whip to swing away. And Kaminari is in the background like this escalated quickly. After that, Kaminari and Naofumi returned to UA, and Deku followed them shortly after. So he went straight to the infirmary, and when he got close, he can sense two people inside. So he knocked on the door, he entered, and there is All Might and a Recovery Girl. All Might is in his buff form, but after seeing Midoriya, he powered down. Recovery Girl tell him, "What are you doing?" All Might explained that Deku was supposed to be the next user of One For All, so he already knew about his scar and everything. Recovery Girl looked at Deku and told him, that make things easier. So Deku powered his Ultra Instinct and they try to heal All Might. And it's almost like a sponge, almost has gotten buffer and buffer until he's gained his buff form and he cannot power them from it. So I know some of you guys will disagree about this point, and you can because this is my theory, and I'm sure that you guys have your own theories. Anyway, let's enter into the story. Why did I just hit my desk? So after All Might was healed, he started asking him about what happened yesterday. So Deku tell him. All Might stays silent for a second, then he tells Deku to not worry about anything and make the most of his summer training camp. Deku tell him, "Speaking of the camp, where are we going?" All Might tell him, "Sorry, I cannot tell you. It's a classified information." More than One For All, Deku tell him, "Well, no." But Deku smirk and tell him, "I'm just messing with you. You guys want to keep it a secret? Fair enough." All Might tell Deku, "I never knew that you can do jokes." Deku reply, "I'm still human. Sure, I don't show my true feelings, but come on." Fair enough, All Might tell him. Meanwhile, the others, the same thing happened in the anime, except Naofumi will take the place of Deku. And the girls were a bit bummed because they want to spend some time with Deku, but maybe next time. So with that, let's say fast forward when it's time to go to summer training camp. From now I'm going to say camp. In the way, I really start thinking or theorizing what they would do in the camp. So after a couple of hours, they stop. They meet the Wild Pussycat, or two of them, Mandali and Pixie Bob. And after they point where the camp is, Class 1A put 2 and 2 together and they try to go back to the bus. But before Pixie Bob can use her quirk, Naofumi tell Deku, "So what do you think? How many monsters will be there?" "I don't know, but let's see who can defeat the most." "You're on." Then two of them jump from the cliff. Bakugo, Ida, Todoroki, and Kirishima follow soon after. Then the rest of the class with the help of Pixie Bob. And the best way to describe what is happening is, I'm sure some of of you guys already play some MMORPGs or any game that have leveling system, or most of them. So just imagine fighting the first final boss and you did complete every side mission that you have. If you don't get what I'm trying to say, the monster were just child's play for Deku and Naofumi. The rest try to keep up with them, but because Deku and Naofumi are in full competition mode, they kill or destroy every monster they came across, and that leave almost nothing to the rest. And because of that, they arrive at the summon camp way earlier, even beating the Wild Pussycat record. Then everyone meet the Wild Pussycat full version and Koda. And in this What If Naofumi did try to introduce himself to Koda, and he got the same treatment that was given to Deku in the anime. And that forced Deku to cover his face because he almost burst out laughing. And Naofumi tell him, "Hope you enjoy my suffering." "I am, don't worry," Deku reply. And this is the first time that Class 1 is so Deku laughing this much, so it's a nice change of pace. He's not an emotionless powerhouse, he's still a human. After that, the Wild Pussycat give them lunch and tell them that is the last meal they will get from them. And without wasting any time, they start training right away. But before they go, Deku tell them that they have to wear something different to train. So he go to his bags and they start training. Their Class 1B join them, and Tiger decide to make his point clear and show them that they were going to break their bodies in this camp. So he decide to fight someone from Class 1A because they are clearly stronger than them. So he picked Deku because he's the one who's struggling the most. Aizo try to stop him and tell him that this kid, you don't want to mess with him. Tiger tell him it's fine, he's just a kid. Plus he's going against a real pro. Naofumi stop his training and tell them, "Oh, this is going to be good. He only need a popcorn and a drink and he's set." So Tiger tell Deku to fight him, and the rest quickly realize that Deku is moving slower than usual. Sure, he's not getting hit by Tiger a lot, but his attacks are way slower than usual. After Tiger uses his quirk to create an opening and punch Deku in the gut, sending him flying a few feet, then he hold his hands, because when he hit Deku, it actually hurt him. It's almost like he punched the wall. Then he tell him, "What are you made of, kid?" Deku get up and tell him, "Flesh and bones. And I think I don't need to hold the back anymore." Then Deku remove his wristbands and his boots or shoes. "Ah, that's better." Tiger ask him why is he removing them. Deku reply, "That would make me lighter." Tiger tell him they don't weigh that much, but suit yourself. Then Deku rush at him and he's much faster. Tiger can only defend, but in the end Deku win because 1. The fight was long enough to Deku to learn Tiger's movement. 2nd, Deku just removed 200 kilos. And before you ask me, yes, he's using his quirk. Even though he's strong, he cannot lift 300 kilos in his base form. But maybe another Deku will. Click on the R button right here to know what I'm talking about. So Tiger quickly found himself in the ground and Deku giving him a hand to get up. Then he asked him where all that come from. Deku reply, "Well, you move faster when you don't have 200 kilos on your back." 200? What? Yeah, they are 200. You said it yourself, we need to push our bodies beyond their limits. So I bring with me the heaviest set that I have. Tiger was shocked, and after trying to lift Deku's clothes, yeah, he's not kidding. Then he tell him, "You're crazy, kid. So your heavy clothes are 200 kilos? Deku tell him, "No, I only said that I dropped 200 kilos. I'm still wearing another 100. And that shocked everyone, even Naofumi. He's wearing some heavy clothes, but not 300. So he realized if he want to reach Deku's level, he need to push himself way beyond his limits. After that, everybody resumed their training, and Tiger learned to leave Deku alone, because he knew what he's doing. Most of the time, he's still a kid. After that, nothing happened except for Koda going to his secret place, and Mandali worries about him. Deku tell her he can search for him, it only take him a second. She tell him to not exert himself too much. Plus, he doesn't want him to search all the forest. Deku shook his head and tell her he doesn't need to search all the forest. He's going to track his key. I will explain later. Mandali just nod and said okay. So Deku power up, and he easily finds Koda, because he's only one in that vicinity. So he fly toward him. When he arrived, Koda tell him how he found this place. Deku simply tell him that I have my ways. Plus, Mandali is worried about you. Koda tell him to leave him alone. He don't like being around you heroes. And Deku can sense that Koda is angry, but he also can sense a tiny bit of sadness. So he tell him, "Look, kid, I don't know you don't know me, and I don't know why you hate heroes. Maybe you have good reason to hate them, but I don't know. But you have to consider, all the wild pussycats are your family right now. So don't hate them because of their job. They are good people, because they care about you, heroes or not. By the way, here, eat it before it gets cold." And you give him a plate. Then he just flies off. Koda was angry, but Deku's words started sinking a bit. Sure, the wild pussycat treat him like family, and they are his family. So after a few minutes, he ate his dinner and went back to the camp. Meantime, everyone is taking a bath, and now for me bring the topic that he's still astonished about Deku weighing 300 kilos while he's training. Deku reply, "Well, I have to, especially when my quirks suck the life out of me." Okay, that come out wrong. So when everyone exits the bath, Mandali grabbed Deku aside and thanked him for bringing back Koda. After that, everything returned to normal. They train and rest. That's it. But one night everything changed. They decided to test their courage with the game, but Deku told them that will not work on me because I can sense people near me, so they cannot scare me. So I step out, plus there is not enough people. Then Pixie Bob starts smelling something burning. Deku starts thinking maybe Shoto is in danger because he's the only one that have a fire quirk. So he power up and can sense two people nearby. He tells them to watch out, there's two people in the trees. So everyone fall back. So Pixie Bob was far away from Magma, so that means she wasn't able to use her quirk on her. Then Spinner, Magna and second generation Nomu come out from the trees. Then Spinner tells them that kid have talent. I see why Stain saw him as a hero. Magna tell him, yeah, I know, but remember our mission. We need to capture him. Aizawa think, they're after Midoriya? Why? Then Mandali realizes that Koda is not here. Deku tells her he can check on him because he knows where he is. She tells him to go and they will take care of everything here. Deku knows that they can handle their own against Spinner and Magna, but the second gen Nomu will be a problem. Then Naofumi put his hand on Deku's shoulder and tell him, don't worry about that thing, I can take care of him. Go get the kid. Deku not and start flying. Magna tried to use her quirk on Deku, but Naofumi stopped her using Black Whip and tell her you are fighting us. Then they start fighting. Tiger took Magna, Mandali took Spinner, and Naofumi is fighting the Nomu with the help of Aizawa. So the Nomu is strong, even without a quirk, and fight did drag out for a few minutes. But after Naofumi had enough and started using 40% of One For All, he can use it but with a lot of stress to his bones, or muscles, or everything. So the Nomu was dealt with, but Naofumi need to rest. So let's rewind back a few minutes and go back to Deku. He flies straight at Koda and get him. But the second he lands, he can sense something big coming toward them. He grabbed Oda and tried to fly, but the second he did, Muscular jumped at him and throw a punch, making Deku dodge and fly back to the ground. Then he tell him, so you are Midoriya, you are fast. And also I heard that you are strong, so show me your power. Deku cursed under his breath. It's not the time. I'm exhausted from training. So he tell Koda to step back and he will handle it. He power up and they clash. Both of them are holding back because Muscular wants a good fight, and Deku is exhausted, so he cannot fight at his full strength for long. And they are somewhat equal because Muscular have the upper hand in endurance and Deku have the upper hand in skills. And that was until Muscular start using 100%, making the ties in his favor and pushing Deku to defend. Then Deku scream power up to 100% and the excess power push Muscular away. Deku took the opportunity and rocket toward him, delivering a furious punch to his face, sending him crashing to the ground. Then Deku immediately powered down. Then he asked Koda, is he okay? Koda nod, but he's still shaking. He's looking at where is Muscular. Deku did the same, then he saw that Muscular is turning into like mud or something. Deku first instinct, what was that? But Deku decided not to stick here to know. He grabbed Koda and started flying. Then Koda tell him, it's him. Deku reply, who? He's the one who killed my parents. Deku reply, your parents? Then he started remembering that Mandali told him that she's Koda's aunt. So Deku put two and two together and realized either his parents were civilians and Muscular killed them, or they were heroes and he killed them. And that was able to go under Deku's skin, but he needed to keep his head straight. So when Deku fly back to the group, he saw that Magna, Spinner and the Nomu was dealt with. Then Mandali ran at Koda and hugged him. She thanked Deku, then he tell her it's not over yet. You sense them? He asked Aizawa. He tell him, yeah, somewhat. There is two of them and one of them is strong to say the least. Then Dabi and Muscular shows up. Deku was surprised and tell him, I just fought you and you turned into that goo or something. Muscular smiled and tell him, yeah, that was not real me. I would have loved to fight you, but the big man want to test your power. And to see how easy you defeated my clone, I just have to test your power. Show me your blood. Muscular immediately go 100%, forcing Deku to do the same. And when they clash, they make a massive shockwave that push everyone away. Even Aizawa said that this punch is almost like the fight between All Might and the Nomu in the USJ. And this time Deku is more disadvantaged than before. He just fought an equally strong Muscular, or copy Muscular, and right now he will fight the real one. And I think the copy is less durable than the real one, if I remember correctly how Twice quirk work. So Deku started losing ground and stamina fast. Aizawa tried to stop him, but he was held hostage by Dabi. If he looked away for 1 second, Dabi started using his quirk, either to fire at him or the Pixie Bob. So the only person that can help him is Naofumi, but he's still in immense pain from using 40% of One For All. Then he started remembering everything that Deku did to him, saving him from the Sludge villain and the Nomu in USJ, and show him even if you are weak, you can still make something out of yourself. Naofumi started powering up One For All. He threw caution out of the wind and started powering up 40%. He jumped to help Deku, and because Muscular is enjoying the fight a little bit too much, he didn't see Naofumi coming toward him, so he was open to a furious punch to his face. And that leave him open. Deku took the opportunity and kicking him to the face, sending him crashing to the ground. Thanks Naofumi, I am at my limits. But that will not be enough to beat him. The suckers is way durable than the copy that I fought. So I think this is your limits. Naofumi smiled at me, yeah. but I can barely hold it. Then the conversation was cut off by Muscular jumping from the ground, throwing a punch. Deku was forced to block it because if he didn't, Naofumi will get hurt. And that punch sent Deku flying backward, knocking Ultra Instinct out of him. Then Naofumi tried to punch Muscular, but Muscular catch his punch, then grab his face and slam it against the ground. And that knocked the one for all out of Naofumi. Both of them feel hopeless. They don't have enough power to beat him. Then Koda fire his water at Muscular and tell him, "Leave them alone." Muscular tell him, "Water? Your coworker resemble the last two I killed, so I assume you are their kid. So not a personal kid, but your parents took my eye, so I took their life. I just want to have a good fight," and they try to intervene. And in the end they lost, so don't blame me. But if you will stand in my way, I will make sure that you will join them. Koda is terrified, but he remembers what Deku told him. Everyone here is fighting, so he needs to step up and protect the one he loved. So once again he used his quirk that did no damage. Muscular tell him, "Alright, that does it." But right when he finished the sentence, Naofumi start lifting him. "Stay away from him." Muscular was shocked and tell him, "You're getting stronger." Then the ground starts shaking. Now Muscular starts sensing something staring at him. He look at the side and see Deku start powering up. And he's pissed. "You bastard. You ruined his life, and you don't want to take the blame? Congrats, you are the first person that actually make me mad." Then Deku scream and power up, but this time when he screamed there is no second voice. Then Naofumi shout, "One for all, 100%. Delaware." And this attack left Muscular open. Then at the same time, Naofumi yelled, "Detroit smash!" And Deku rocket toward him and delivered a fierce punch with Naofumi, sending Muscular flying toward the mountain, completely breaking it. And of course, a massive shockwave that come with it. And two of them powered down, completely exhausted. Then they saw a black portal taking everyone from the League of Villains away. They tried to stop him, but Naofumi is way too hurt to move, and Deku is barely conscious. And after the portal was gone, Deku passed out. And I think I'm going to stop it right here. So what do you think of it, guys? Why do League of Villains want to capture Deku? What will happen next? Leave your thoughts in comments down below. And if you like the video, drop a like, it helped me a lot. And if you're not subscribed, there is more videos like this coming. And like always, guys, peace.